that Google is one of the major players in the computing world with the Microsoft and Apple. Those are probably the three major hardware and software companies that we all use at some point. And it's interesting, I find today that they're not really competing with one another in the same sense as one would think. They're beginning to work in concert because each one, I believe, has found their own particular niche uh, to operate in. And they all have their pluses and minuses. And I think as computer users today, we tend to um, have a preference for one for certain to do certain things, and we have a tendency to use all three. And actually, for this presentation, is kind of a combination of things. I'm actually using a Mac uh, computer to give this presentation using Microsoft's PowerPoint. Um, so that's just an example. So we're going to talk about Google, and as Pat told you, I'm with APCUG, and this is a benefit of your membership. And I'm also your Region 8 advisor. So that makes it really special for me to um, present to you this evening as a member of the APCU Speakers Bureau. Um, the story for Google actually begins in 1995 when Larry Page was considering Stanford for grad school. And he met up with Sergey Brin, who was a student there. And Brin was asked to show him around the campus. And so that's how they became acquainted. Um, I, if you go back some time, you probably once thought as Google being primarily a search engine. And that's really what it was when it was founded in 1998. But as time progressed, they incorporated themselves in September of 98, and then they became a public stock in 2004. Um, and it's interesting to look at some of the history, is that the two guys didn't really agree with one another on everything, but they seemed to be able to strike up a partnership. And working in their dorm rooms, they built the search engine that I mentioned earlier uh, to link individual web pages together. Um, I remember when I first started using a computer, probably the search engine that was of choice was Yahoo. There was another one called Alta Vista, if you remember any of those. But those seem to fall by the wayside once Google really became a major player because apparently it was able to do a much better job at searching the web. It's interesting to know that originally they decided to call their first effort Backrub, but thank goodness that didn't come about. And so they've actually settled on the word Google. And that name is actually a play on a mathematical expression for the number one, followed by 100 zeros. And so it aptly reflected their mission, and that's to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And as we go through our presentation, you'll see that that has been carried through with their different products that they have developed over the years, um, as well as some of the hardware. Um, One of the things that you have to recognize that Google is really much more than just a search engine. It's also apps, and it also forms um, the grouping of a bunch of applications uh, that is used in concert with one another. And the core of that is, of course, the Chrome browser. And it's the foundation of the Google platform. And the thing is that makes it viable is the fact that it works across a wide variety of operating systems. As I told you earlier, I'm actually using a Mac to give this presentation. You can install the applications on Windows machines as well as iOS machines, and of course the Android operating system. And the reason why that is because it is web-based. Um, all the applications that Google develops is developed for the web and primarily for mobile devices. Now, one of the things that you have to be aware of is your Google account, and that is a Gmail email address and password. I know many of you, I shouldn't say many of you, but a lot of us use Google emails um, addresses as throwaways. We create a Google account primarily to satisfy some um, email address or email function that we want, and we use it basically as a throwaway. So as a result of that, many of us have multiple email addresses. Now, has some pluses and some minuses, and I want to point out that if you have multiple Gmail accounts, you have to designate one of those as your primary if you want to be able to um, use those to sync your devices across the board. So it's really important that even though you may have five Gmail accounts, one of those is going to be will have to be made the primary. If you have an Android phone, for instance, and you use that for uh, your email, and perhaps you're using it to take photos, and you wonder why you can't sync those between your um, phone and your computer. The reason possibly is that you're using a different Gmail account for your phone as opposed to the one that you're using for your computer. So to eliminate that, you will need to sign in to that account that's on your phone. And once you do that, then you will be able to sync information between those accounts. So the Google account is very similar to your Microsoft account. And so it'll allow you to sign in to access all the apps developed by Google, as well as syncing those between devices. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're having that problem, then you may want to look at your phone and see what Gmail address is assigned to that phone. One of the apps that Google has developed is Google Chrome, and it's a both a web browser, but also that name is also associating with an operating system, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But Google Chrome is a cross-platform web browser developed by Google. and it was released in 2008 for Windows, and it's also you can use it with Linux, you can use it with Mac OS, iOS, and Android. Um, and with Android, it is the default browser built into the that operating system. And as I said, it's also a main component of the Chrome OS, where it serves as a platform for web applications. And most Chrome source code, the Google free and open source software project called Chromium, and it's licensed as proprietary freeware. Now, recently, if you own a Chromebook, um, the operating system and the browser have been decoupled. So now there is the browser that's used on Chromebooks, that's Chrome, is separate from the operating system. And I'll talk more about that later. One of the other uh, products that Google is known for is Google Maps, and it's used by uh, millions of people every month. And it has all kinds of features, such as a route planner, allowing you to find available directions through driving, public transportation, uh, whether you're walking or biking. And it has partnered globally with over 800 public transportation providers. And uh, there is a application called the General Transit Feed Specification. So that allows the data to be available to third parties. Waze is another mapping application that is has the GPS navigational uh, function built into it, and in that way, it really differs from Google Maps. It operates in real time, and it works on your smartphones and your tablets, and it gives turn-by-turn information, just like a normal navigation um, product. But the thing about it that it does everything in real time, and users of that can actually report any traffic and road hazards that they encounter, so they can alert users of ways that there's an issue on whatever road that they might be traveling. The Google Calendar is a time management and scheduling service that is integrated with uh, Gmail. So, in if the calendar, if you put a date in your of in your message that you're inviting someone to a particular function, they can link that with the calendar just by clicking. Because if it's in Gmail, normally that date is highlighted. And by clicking on that, it'll bring up the calendar, and then you can go ahead and enter the information of the event that you've been invited to. It also has the ability to retrieve birth dates from Google Contacts and displays birthday cards that you can send. And they've added other functionality that allows you to use the calendar more effectively. It's say, for instance, that I spoke of earlier, if you get an email about an event like the Zoom meeting I received today, or flight or hotel, it automatically added that to my calendar. It also includes things like smart suggestions that can uh, give you information on specific goals that you might want to make, and it'll automatically schedule that activity at optimal times. Google Home, if you are into home automation and you happen to have a Google device, there's an app that you can download called Google Home, and it allows you to manage all your home automation devices in one application, such as uh, a Nest thermostat, or if you have a Chromecast device, or any of those things that associated with automating your lights, um, cameras, you can do that all in one place. You can bring up the app and it'll show you the your camera. It'll also show you your thermostat, any other devices that you might have associated with Google Home. And it will both integrate not only the Google um, devices, but also some third parties uh, as well. And you can use it to control your music, control videos, photos, receive news updates, a variety of things. And it works in concert if you happen to have a Google device, such as the uh, Max, which is a large display screen, and it will show you uh, dates, it'll play music, it'll do a variety of other things. Um, it also will, it includes what's called the Google Assistant, which is an artificial intelligence virtual assistant, and it allows you to have a two-way conversation with your Google device. And it can search the internet, you can ask it questions. It's very much, if you're familiar with Siri, it would be a similar, it has similar functions as Siri on your Apple phone, except it's called Google Assistant. A lot of devices that you purchase today, you will find it will have uh, the Google Assistant. If it's an Apple device, it will have Siri, and then it will have the Amazon Alexa. So the Google Assistant is very much like those three different devices. Google Contacts is their contact management tool that's available in its email service for Gmail and Android phones. You can synchronize it with your mobile devices, and it's compatible with a variety of different operating systems in addition to Android, such as Symbian, iOS, BlackBerry, Palm, Pocket PC, or Windows Phone, if you still own those devices. Some of them have become obsolete, but you can still, you might have that, the Google Contacts included. As I said earlier, um, the three major players in computing today, Apple, Windows, and Android, uh, and Google, they are not really competing with one another. They're becoming more integrated. Google Contacts also supports the CSV format, so you can use that to import your address into a Google account from Outlook or from Excel. You can make an address list in Excel and then convert it to export it as a CSV, and Google Contacts can read that. Google Docs is the equivalent to Microsoft's uh, suite of productivity products. Microsoft now is calling their Office suite Microsoft 365, but Google Docs is its equivalent. And I show you here where Google Docs is equivalent to Microsoft Word, Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, Slides, PowerPoint, Forms, uh, allows you to create forms and surveys. Drawings is similar to Microsoft's Visio, and then Sites is used to create business websites, and Google Keep is much like Microsoft Notes. Now, this is one area where Apple is not quite uh, compatible with all of these. So if you're using um, the Apple products such as Write and for in place of Microsoft Word, you may have some difficulties with converting those. I don't use the Apple productivity suite, so I'm not really up to snuff as far as how well it works in, uh, with Microsoft Office, or in the new terminology, Microsoft 365. But Google Docs is a free application and it's available for Android and iOS. You can use Google Docs on an Apple machine. It works with Windows and BlackBerry. And it is the desktop application for the Google Chrome OS if you have a Chromebook. And it's web-based. That's something I failed to mention, I think, early on, is that, and maybe I did, is that the reason why the Google applications work on a wide variety of a wide variety of hardware is because they are web-based. So everything runs within a browser. If you have a browser installed on your device, then you can run an Apple, uh, I'm sorry, a um, a Google application. One of the things about Google Docs is that you can open Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, as well as LibreOffice, Writer, Calc, Impress. All of those can be open or used with Google Docs and vice versa. So the beauty of that is this ability to easily share a document or a spreadsheet or presentation with anyone, regardless of what software they have on the computer. And it can be also edited by one person or everyone, or just be viewed. Here's some examples of some screenshots. Um, and you'll notice the similarities between the Office products. So this is the way the toolbar looks in Google Docs. And so you'll see there's some very familiarities. You have the menu bar for file, edit, view, insert, format. All those are pretty familiar if you use a Microsoft product, as well as a graphical toolbar as well. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Undo, redo, print. Uh, this here will change the font size, and so forth. So it's pretty straightforward. There's your bold, italics, underline, and this is free uh, software that you can download. Google Sheets, which is equivalent of Microsoft Excel, and you can see that it's very similar. The share icons in both of these allow you to share your documents um, to others. In slides, which is the equivalent of PowerPoint, you see you have the same type of toolbar. Uh, Google Drive is Google's equivalent of the cloud storage. It's similar to Microsoft OneDrive or Box or any of the other cloud storage um, applications that are available today. And of course, it allows you to store, share, and collaborate your files. And it is the default storage for um, Google Docs. So anything that you create in Google Docs, whether it be the spreadsheet or slides, when you save that, you'll be saving it to your Google Drive. And it offers 15 gigabytes of free storage, and that is shared between Gmail and Google Photos. So if you are using your phone to take pictures and you're getting nags that says you're running out of storage, it's possible that you are have eaten up your storage with photos, and you have your Google Mail, which also is sharing, and so between the two, they are uh, fighting for storage. So one of the ways to free up the storage is either offload your Google Photos or go in and check and see if you have any attachments that are photos and go in and either offload those or delete them. And that should free up some space where you will no longer get those nags. Or the other possibility is buy additional storage from Google, and it's pretty reasonable. Um, Google One is their premium cloud storage. Um, and here you can manage your storage across your photos, Drive, Gmail with Google One. And so if you buy additional storage, you will be using Google One as your cloud storage. And it offers one paid plans that start from 100 gigabytes up to 30 terabytes. And here's what I was telling you earlier. Within Google One, it will show you how your storage is being used. You can also see something similar if you go and right click on your um, little icon or symbol that's up in the upper right hand of any Google product you're using. It might say you need to sign in. And if it says you need to sign in, all you need to do is enter your primary Gmail um, account and password, and that will sign you in to that account. And then it will show you how much storage you are using for that particular account. So, as I said earlier, you have to uh, determine which one is your primary Gmail account, particularly if you're using a mobile device such as a phone or tablet. Uh, you need to you can sign in to any Google account using your Gmail and password, but you have a primary account that is being used by, um, I would say in this instance, would be probably your phone. If you have an Android phone and you're taking photos and it's saving those photos to Google Photos, then that's the one that you want to designate as your prime. Well, let's go back one. If you're using Gmail on that phone, then both the Gmail that you're using for account you're using for your mail should be the same that you would be signing into the phone. And you should also sign into Google Photos with that same Gmail account and password. Another product which got a lot of publicity early on was Google Earth, and that's where Google was mapping all the satellite imagery uh, uh, with various cameras, and you could go in and view those on your computer. It had aerial photo. It has aerial photo, GIS data, and it shows it in a 3D globe. So you can use your computer, tablet, or smartphone to zoom into your house, anywhere else, and then get a 360-degree perspective with a street view. If you recall, Google was sending their little cars out with the cameras and mapping all the information that it could find. And so that's what it was using to populate Google Earth. We've mentioned Gmail many times during this presentation, and it's their free email service, and it's one that most people have a Gmail address of some sort, and you can use it anywhere, which makes it really practical to use. Doesn't matter what computer, and if you're traveling, you can go in and log on to your email using your Gmail account and password on any computer. Some of the highlights of it is that you can receive emails up to 50 megabytes in size, including your attachments. And you can send emails up to 25 megabytes. Um, it has a search-oriented interface and a conversational view similar to internet form. So it's a really great email client if you're looking for one that you can carry anywhere. Gmail is really one to think about. And also, it automatically adds the Google Drive link if attachment is larger than 25 megabytes. So you've had issues where you try to send a photo that's larger than most providers will accept. Uh, you can, if you use Gmail to send that, it will then add a Google Drive link for that attachment if it's bigger than 25 megabytes. So when your recipient clicks on it, it'll take them to Google Drive to retrieve that attachment. One of the things about Google uh, Gmail is that it automatically scans email for multiple purposes, including filtering as spam and malware. So that's one of the perks with having a Gmail account is that you're also protected from spam and malware. You also can organize your Gmail uh, um, rather than using folders. Gmail uses what's called labels. but essentially they're the same thing. So rather than having, like in this case, it says labels rather than folders, but they're essentially the same thing. So when you create a new label, you essentially are creating a new folder. And you just give it a name and you use it exactly as you would a folder, except just keep in mind it's named that they name them labels rather than folders. Google Messages is uh, a form of text messaging, um, and it was developed for the Android mobile operating system. Um, so on your phone, you might have two text messaging capabilities. You might have three, matter of fact, because one is the one that came with your phone, and it might be just named message. And if it's an Android phone, um, it will message will be Google Messages. It'll, but then you might also have another one on your phone that is called Messenger, and that's the one that's used with Facebook. So keep that in mind there, that you possibly have two ways to text message on your phone. One is Messenger, which is Facebook, and you have to have a Facebook account to use that. And the other one is Messages, which is the one that comes with your Google phone. On your Apple phone, you can install Google Messages in addition to the one that is, uh, I forget what Apple calls theirs, but if you want to have people send you messages using the Google message, you can just install messages and then the tool will be compatible. The other thing is that Google has something called Google Duo, which is similar to FaceTime. Um, and in the later versions of Apple phones, you're now allowed, it will accept Google Duo. You can FaceTime between the two using Google Duo. So that's something that's been added. It's one way though. From what I understand, you can't. You can. I'm. 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 I'm trying to believe. I should have looked this up. I believe you can. People with FaceTime can't call you, but you can call them using your Google Duo. Um, Google Fi is a different kind of a phone plan, and it's offered by T-Mobile and US Cellular. It has some really good rates. So if you are a T-Mobile or US Cellular user, you might want to look at Google Fi. It's only available for people that live in the United States, and it covers over 170 countries around the world, though. It connects to Wi-Fi, and it has an automatic VPN. Um, the plans work with Android phones and iPhones, and some of the pricing, as when I did this, was if you want the simply unlimited, it's $80 for four at $20 each. The unlimited plus is for four at $40 each, and then there's the flexible. Um, So they're simply unlimited is their affordable plan if you use lots of data and have I'm sorry, 2 or 4 lines for this. You can get 2 or 4 lines for the same price. If you have the unlimited plus, it's for staying connected both uh, domestically and abroad. And plus, it has a 1 year YouTube premium um, included. And then the flexible plan that's the one that you pay as you go. So those are something that you might look at. And I would suggest that if you are interested, contact T-Mobile or US Cellular to get the latest information and see if that's something that works for you. Google Voice is the a Google phone number that you can use anywhere, and you can go in and apply for one of those. It's a service that is free. The only thing is that it requires you have a US telephone number. So you can go in and set it up. You can select what area code you want, and you can pick the phone number, and you can forward it to a telephone number, a a phone number that you already have, and you can make phone calls through the web or through one of the Google devices, such as if you have a Google Home, you can ask it to call the number, and it will use Google Voice to connect that individual. Google Fit is their health tracking platform, and you can install this on your phone or your watch, and it's also available for Apple iOS as well. The uh, Wear OS is Samsung, and you can use that to track your fitness activities such as walking or cycling, and it maintains the data uh, that you can share with others if you want to, as well as delete the information if need be. Google Meet is their video communication service, which is similar to Zoom. I have not tried this, but it is Google's equivalent to uh, Microsoft Teams or Zoom or any of those communication services that are being used today. So remember that you can't, if you use Google Meet, the other party has to have Google Meet as well. And of course, like most of the telecommunication software companies, they grew exponentially during COVID-19. Um, and during that time, they suspended their 60-minute limit. So the free account will give you 60 minutes today, as opposed, I believe Zoom is still at 40. I can't remember. I use a paid account, but so if that's a situation of getting something at low cost and you're limited to 60 minutes, Google Meet might be one of those that you might want to look at. And we mentioned Google Photos, and I think it is the de facto platform to use for taking and storing photos. Google Photos has so many possibilities and features, and they keep adding to those every day. You can do all kinds of editing to the photos. Um, there are two versions of that. There's the free version, and then there's also the paid version, which gives you a few more capabilities. But if you're taking photos with your phone, uh, by all means, download and install Google Photos. Uh, you'll really be amazed at some of the things that you can do with it. As plus, it backs up everything to the cloud. So you have a way of maintaining and keeping your photos um, in a safe place. It also has wonderful search capabilities. So if you tag them properly, you can go in and um, identify. Once you identify a face or individual in the photo, it'll go out and find every instance where that individual appears, and so you can just put their name in, and all the photos that you've taken with that individual in it will appear. So it's really a really um, fine software. Now on your Android phone, you have I have a Samsung phone, and I have something called Gallery. And I'm not saying that Gallery is not a great app, but you can still use both. So when you take a photo, it'll really appear in both of them. It'll appear in the gallery as well as in Google Photos. Um, Gallery has some capabilities on my Samsung phone that Google Photos does not. So I have both. I use Google Photos and I also have Gallery. So don't think that because you already have a photo app on that you can't have an additional one. And there won't be any cross linking or anything like that. You can use both of them in conjunction with one another and and have a wonderful means of taking and saving and preserving your photos. Um, and also, you know, you can share photos uh, with Google Photos as well. There's just lots of things. You can share them to social networks such as Google Plus and Facebook, Twitter, and other services. So Google Photos is something that you might want to consider downloading from the App Store or the Google Play Store. It also will maintain information as far as where the locations of where the pictures were taken as well. Google Lens is a service that's built into your camera app if you have an Android phone, or you can download it. And what it does is a search. So you can take a picture, say, of a flower, and then use the optical character recognition in the phone to identify it, and then it'll come up with information related to that flower or any photo that you might take that has um, some data um, tied to it. It's called Google Lens. And as you notice here, I try to put the icons on so that you can recognize them if you need to be able to identify what they are. And I mentioned the Google Play Store just now. and that is the repository for all the Google apps that you can download to your uh, uh, devices. It has the Google developed software or applications as well as third party. Google is not as diligent about policing their software as Apple. Um, but it's the same concept that you go here and you search for whatever application you're looking for, either by its name or by its function, and then you can download it to your phone. There's both free and ones that are for charge or pay. Um, you can download them directly on an Android device through the Play Store, and there's about 3 million different applications available. And there's three types. When you bring up the app, the Google Play Store is actually another app, and it serves as a library. And you'll see across the top, you'll have like the editor's choice. Um, and so they will show you, give you some suggestions of things that you might be interested in. Android Auto is increasingly becoming available on automobiles. And if you connect your phone and your car is so equipped, you can bring up very similar, well, bring up the apps that are on your phone onto your infotainment center in your car. Um, and depends on the automobile. It might have a touch screen or button control, however it's designed. But this is an example of what it would look like. And you see that we have Maps, Spotify, YouTube Music, your phone, Waze, this is a calculator, so forth. Um, YouTube and YouTube Premium, um, you'll find this on across platforms. Uh, a lot of televisions, if you have a smart TV, you're able to download YouTube or it's been included. You can upgrade to premium if you want to do advertising free streaming. Um, and also, it will have exclusive content. It will allow you also to get to the Google Music. Um, YouTube has just a ton of content. It's really, I'm probably speaking to the choir, but if you want to find out how to do something, you can go and use the search capability in YouTube, and usually it'll come up with a video that'll give you step-by-step instructions, and not only one, but several, so you can watch two or three of them and take the best out of the three to accomplish any task that you might um, uh, be interested in doing. YouTube Music is another repository of music that you can stream. There's a free version as well as subscriptions. And so if you have some old music that you've wanting to hear that you can't find, 9 times out of 10, you can go and search for it in YouTube Music and find that selection. That's one of the things about Google is that it's all about search, as we spoke of. earlier, their in keeping with their motto is have things available for everyone. So they've created these applications with that in mind, and they all tend to tie into one another. I mean, you can um, see the commonalities between them and how they interact with one another as well. Google makes a variety of hardware, and I will just kind of briefly go over this. There's In other words, as I said earlier, they've always wanted to create something that serves a purpose in people's lives. And so, as a result, they've developed the Google Pixel line, which is smartphones, tablets, and laptops, earbuds. Google Nest is their speakers, their digital displays, media players, doorbells, and thermostats, smoke alarms, and wireless routers. Um, so, as I have said in the past, that they've been working towards its mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful for everybody. Um, of course, the big breakthrough is coming with the intersection of artificial intelligence, software, hardware, all working together. So, in that context, AI is going to help you get real things done every day. A shorter route to work, vacation photo, faster email response. Um, so, as with other brands, the um, uh,
Bill,
yes, Terry,
it's
I, I'm on
Bill, I'm sorry to bother you.
I'm on a Zoom
I'm
meeting.
okay. Oh, you are? Um, Ron Brown is their presenter, and I don't know how to contact him.
Uh,
I don't have his email address with me.
You're
And
welcome.
do you,
Can you?
any chance, have his phone number?
I do. I'll see if I can text it to you.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
All right.
And I'll quick give him a call.
Okay, thanks.
Did not remind him, so
No problem.
my fault.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Bye.
Bye.
I apologize for that. That was Terry Harvey with the Walk Group, and she's having problems with a presenter. I didn't mean to take that, but I saw her name. I thought it was important. She rarely calls. The Walk is the Wisconsin user group, and so back to what I was saying about the Nest. These are examples. This is a thermostat, that's a display, and that's one of those little donut speakers. These are pretty inexpensive. They're probably about $25, $30, I think. Might be less than that if you can find a deal. And what that will allow you to do with voice recognition, you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, and then any device that you have uh, connected to it, you can control it. Such if you buy smart light bulbs, you can tell it to turn your lights on and off. Something I really strongly recommend for us seniors, particularly if you're trying to uh, navigate through your house, to have one smart bulb connected to one of these. You can bark out from your, anywhere in the house to turn the light on in that particular room, and so it'll be able to light your way. So that's I think a really valuable investment. I mentioned earlier about the Google Chromebook, and that is a laptop that runs the Chrome operating system, and it is really a alternative to a full-blown laptop, particularly if you only are browsing the web or you are just using email. This might be the only computer that you really need. So it's something to think about, particularly if you want something that's more current and you don't want to spend the money to buy a new computer to accommodate Windows 11. You might consider looking at a Chromebook. Um, the operating system itself is pretty intuitive. It's going to be a touch screen. It's going to have icons that you recognize, particularly if you use an Android phone. So you, excuse me, you'll be right at home in a lot of ways using it, and it keeps up to date on its own. You always have a fresh copy of the Chrome operating system. When you turn it off and you turn it back on, if it's connected to the internet, it'll automatically update to the latest version. Um, and Chromebooks have become really not only more affordable, but they're also more capable. Is that you can run a number of products, I mean, applications on it with little or no problem. So it's something to think about. And they are usually uh, between $200 and $300. Of course, you can buy more expensive ones, but the average price is in the $200 and $300 range, and they come in various different sizes. There's 12-inch up to 17-inch models. Um, the Google Pixel line actually has full-blown laptops, which runs Windows, and tablets that run Android, and of course, smartphones um, um, that is a competitive brand. The Pixel phones are usually less than Samsung, but the beauty about the Pixel phone is that it is a true Android product, I mean, a Google product, and that it usually gets the latest version of Android first. If you're into casting, uh, um, from your devices, such as a um, tablet or a Android phone. The Chromecast is a device that you can connect to your TV and through the television's HDMI port and Wi-Fi, you're able to cast from your phone or your tablet to your TV. And this runs on Wi-Fi. They're wireless. And then the Google OSs, there are two. There's Chrome OS and there's the Android OS. And they serve different purposes. Um, Chrome OS is what's running on your on
From Harry Harvey.
that's running from your that runs on your Chrome, and then your Android OS is the one that's is on your phone. So Google announced their Chrome OS project in 2009, and it's the operating system which both application and user data reside in the cloud. So remember, it's cloud-based, and it has been uh, primarily used in Chromebooks. The Android OS is the one that is used on your phone, and it's used both smartphones and your tablets. The two are not compatible. They have some similarities. They use some of the same applications, but as far as being able to run programs, um, that's not possible. Now, what the Chromebook has done is that the newer versions or the latest versions have a feature that will allow you to run Android apps on a Chromebook. But it's only the newer models that allow you to do that. And our last product is Google Bard, and everyone is talked about um, artificial intelligence, or what's referred to as generative AI. And Google's version of that is Bard. And what I did for this is I asked Bard to tell us a little bit about itself. And so I posed some questions. And so here is the answers. So Bard is a creative and helpful collaborator to supercharge your imagination, boost productivity, and bring ideals to life. It's experimental, um, but it's a creative and helpful collaborator. It can help you plan that perfect birthday party, or draft an invitation, create a pro and con list for big decisions, or understanding the really complex topics simply. So recently, Bard is saying its first words thanks to a recent update that gives AI the ability to read out generative responsive in over 40 different languages. That includes Arabic, Chinese, German, and Spanish. And so, how this works is that you enter a prompt using the sound icon in the upper right-hand corner, and the chat box will create a hyperlink that you can send over a messaging app, and it will directly post the URL into LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or Reddit. Uh, so it also, you can use Bard for coding tasks such as doing programming. Like in this case, you can directly ask it to export a Python code to the Replit platform. It also has a possibility of using Google Lens that will allow you to update images and prompts, uh, and then a variety of other things. So the next slides that I'm going to show you is an interview I had with Bard, where it explains in its own words of who it is, what it does, and what's in its future. So the questions I asked, who is Bard? And it came back with this answer. There are many people named Bard, but I'm assuming you are referring to me. I am a large language model, also known as conversational AI or chatbot, trained to be informative and comprehensive. I'm trained on a massive amount of text data, and I'm able to communicate and generate human-like text in response to a wide range of prompts and questions. For example, I can provide summaries of factual topics or create stories. I'm still under development, but I've learned to perform many kinds of tasks, including I will try my best to follow your instructions and complete your requests thoughtfully. So my next question, well, it went on. I will use my knowledge to answer your questions in a comprehensive and informative way even if they're open-ended, challenging, or strange. I will generate different creative text formats of text like poems, quotes, scripts, musical pieces, emails, letters, etc. I will try my best to fulfill all your requirements. I'm excited to see what I can learn and do in the future. So my next question was, how are you different from Google Assistant? Now, remember we talked about the Google Assistant earlier, and that's a means of asking a device a question, and it gives a question or does a task. So Bard's answer to that question was, Google Assistant and I are both large language models, also known as conversational AI or chatbots, trained to be informative and comprehensive. However, we have some differences. Google Assistant is designed to be a voice activated personal assistant, while I'm designed to be a text-based chatbot. This means that Google Assistant can understand and respond to voice commands, while I can only understand and respond to text input. Google Assistant is focused on helping users perform tasks, as I said earlier, while I'm focused on providing information and completing requests. For example, Google Assistant can be set up, can set alarms, play music, and control smart home devices, while I can be used to answer questions, generate text, and translate languages. Google Assistant um, can be used to set alarms, play music, and control smart home devices, while I can be used to answer questions, generate text, and translate languages. Google Assistant is currently available on a wide range of devices. Am I?
I am.
And it's available on smartphones, um, smart speakers, smart displays, and even some cars, while I'm currently only available in a limited number of places. Ultimately, which one is better for you depends on your needs. If you need a voice-activated personal assistant that can help you perform tasks, then Google Assistant is a better choice. If you need a text-based chat box that can provide information and complete requests, then I'm the better choice. And my next question was, are you integrated with other Google products? And the answer was yes. I'm integrated with a number of Google products, including Google Search. You can use me to search for information on the web. For example, you could ask, what is the capital of France? Or how tall is the Eiffel Tower? And in Google Maps and Google Docs and Sheets is also integrated with those as well. And Slides, Slack, these are all the um, ones that are part of Google, but notice it also will interact with Microsoft Teams and Zoom as well. Um, and then the last question, of course, and that's the big question, and it's probably changed. And what's the future of AI? And so some of the examples it said was in healthcare, it's going to be developed for new drugs and treatment, diagnose diseases, provide personalized care, or in finance, it will be used to detect fraud, manage risks, make investment decisions. In manufacturing, automate tasks, improve efficiency. And in transportation, develop self-driving cars and optimize traffic flow. So those are just a few examples of the many ways artificial intelligence is being used today. So as it develops, I believe that it will have even a greater impact on our lives. It has the potential to make our lives easier, healthier, and more productive. And all those were answered by BART, which is actually a AI chatbot. Um, And then, of course, it also mentioned the potential risk about people using it in a nefarious way, but it cautions about, that you need to ensure that it's being used for good and not harm. Most bots today, if you ask it like create a bomb, it won't do that. So there's not a huge big worry about AI being able to give instructions for uh, improper purposes. So to close this, just to give you a little bit of where all the magic happens, is that Google has several um, offices that mostly are located in California, where they're used to create and develop all their software. And I thought it was interesting because they're not normal workplaces as we think of a workplace. Um, they're rather whimsical and uh, something as we older adults probably are not accustomed to seeing in an office. But say, for instance, in this particular one in Venice, they have their ideal board, and then, of course, they have um, places to play and collaborate, which in this case is a foosball machine as one of the, there's a pool table over there. They can bring their pets to work, uh, to take time to take off for a walk or go surfing. Um, uh, there's free food. And as it says, it's all about ideas. So they want to foster that among their employees. So their workplaces are rather unique in many ways. Um, and then there's another one which is called Playa Vista, and it's in Southern California as well. Well, it's in the Los Angeles area. And this is the old where the Spruce Goose used to be in the hangar. They converted that hangar as into office space, and it looks very similar. And of course, they have free food. Um, this is some of the handouts which I will include that you can. These are hyperlinked, and on the slides I provide you, you can click on those and get information. And there are some quick start guides. And this is a list of all the dead Google products, the ones that didn't quite make it. And so they have a list of all the ones that are no longer available. And here's some of my resources. And that's it. So I'm open for any questions, and I'll stop sharing my screen. And
Anybody have any questions?
A lot of information. Are there fees involved in all those apps and talking about?
Are there fees involved?
no, they're not. The Google applications are free in the Google Play Store. The only ones that would, well, let me correct myself. If you get the premium version, say of YouTube Premium, there is a fee associated with it. Or the YouTube Music Premium. The premium ones, you have to pay a monthly fee, but all the other ones, like regular YouTube, and is free. Google Docs is free. You can download those. Google Photos is free. There is a premium version of Google Photos that you have to pay for, but all the ones I mentioned are free except for the premium versions of the ones that I mentioned.
There's one more, Bill, and that's YouTube TV that
YouTube, yes, correct. YouTube, which I use YouTube TV,
I do too.
and it's I didn't mention that. It's a alternative to cable service,
Right.
and it works pretty
Don
well.
has one on the screen there.
Donnie, what's your question?
I'm sorry?
Donnie,
Sheila.
what's your question? Unmute yourself.
He got his hand up. He did it and lost.
You're, unmute yourself, Donnie.
Maybe it's in the chat box or the phone.
Gee, that was the mouse.
Well,
I got a question back here.
while we're waiting for that, how did Microsoft allow like Google Docs to have all the same icons and everything? It just,
They're not similar, actually,
okay,
but there is similarities. Like you're talking about the toolbar, like some of those things were had just been common across across software for years. So they're not actually copyrighted, like the undo and redo, the underline, those symbols. Those are basically symbols that have been used. They're used across the board. I don't believe they're copyrighted or unique to any one company.
Any other questions?
Is Google Bard available to be used by regular people?
It is. You have to go and sign up for it. I believe if you go to the App Store,
App Store.
I'm not App Store, what am I saying? Google Play Store, and type in BART, you should be able to download it.
Oh,
But
Yes.
can you download it on an iPhone or Microsoft?
You can
Windows.
download it on your Windows computer. It will probably be it's a icon that would be part of your Chrome browser. So if you have the Chrome browser, you can download it. Use it in conjunction with that on your iOS device.
But not on the phone? You can do it on the phone too.
You should be able to if you have an Android phone.
B-A-R-T or B-A-R-D? I was just.
B-A-R-T.
Well, yeah, on here it's B-A-R-D.
App, I wanted to download that.
Like the bar, that was like,
showing something.
Is there any security issues about all of this information being all of these places?
No,
What now? That's a good question.
yeah.
Is there security of all this information being out there for everything? Is there any security issues one should think about?
Well, there's always security issues. You have to be concerned about how you use your software and what you do with it. But if you are aware of some of the risks, then there is no problem. Like, well, let's say if you're using, do you have a Gmail account?
Yeah,
Okay, so the things that you would be cautioning about your Gmail account is that you don't click on links that you don't recognize. Just use common sense practices to keep yourself safe. So that would be my only concern about using anything is just be aware of what you're doing and just don't click on things that you're unsure of, or be aware. Gmail is pretty good about screening spam and things of that nature, but I'm pretty sure occasionally things will creep in. But if you don't recognize the person that's sending it, I wouldn't, open the email or do anything like that. But those kinds of things I would be concerned about. And of course, if you have your antivirus and malware up to date and current, you should be fine. I use Windows Defender on my computer as my antivirus, and I've been pretty happy with how it detects and keeps me safe from viruses and so forth.
Thank you. I think.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate everything.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I apologize for the interruption. That was I still haven't I
All right,
still
we understand.
I still haven't got her problem resolved. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
all
sir.
right.
Bill.
Bye-bye.